All right, everyone. We are back for episode 32 of Stub Love Live. And we are just getting back from the National. And I've got Rob Pagan on as my first guest. See Rob's joining in here. Let me go live. Here we go. Got a lot of people floating in.
I'm here.
There's Rob. All right.
Let's go.
RP tickets in the house.
I'm here.
So we're going to do for everyone a full recap of the 2024 National as it relates to tickets. And Rob, I think I can say it for both of us. We had an amazing National. You agree?
Oh, I had a blast. We'll get to it, but the best part was meeting all the other ticket collectors. Favorite part of the National.
Yeah. We always say it. It's about the connections and the relationships and all of those things. And it really, truly is. But, I mean, what just a tremendous National. Let's kind of start it off. So, great time. We went to Cleveland this year for the National. Last year it was in Chicago. So I guess the one little unique difference for us flying into Cleveland this time was that it was not a nonstop flight from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. We had no choice. If we wanted to get there Wednesday morning, it was really our only option. So, we had to do what we got to do, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to fly out. That was the tough part, but we made it.
Yeah, long days too.
Yeah.
Obviously, getting up early and then you have to change planes. And we didn't have much time in between our connections, so we were rushing. Yep. The Southwest made me check a bag, which was, a pain. I was pissed.
Yep.
Because I don't check bags. But, kind of all's well that ends well. The other thing that I would say is, our hotel, we stayed in downtown Cleveland at the Weston.
Yep.
What'd you think?
It was great hotel. I wish it was closer to the venue. That was the only issue. Chicago, everything's right there. So a little bit different, but, the hotel's beautiful. Not too bad of an Uber drive, but, obviously we'll get to all the traffic and everything near the convention center itself, but hotel was great. Places to go around the hotel was amazing. So that was fun. The game and all that stuff, which we'll get into as well. But yeah, it was a great experience. The hotel was great.
So downtown Cleveland, it's actually a very cool city.
Yeah.
Good restaurants downtown, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I heard the Christmas Story House is there, or there's a Christmas Story House there. The Guardian Stadium, what I call the Indian Stadium, was there. Just a lot of fun downtown, but it was a 20-minute commute to the venue. There are no hotels really that are right located near the IX Center.
Right.
So you really almost had to stay in the city. I heard people who didn't and stayed kind of closer to the venue, their hotels were rough. I heard people's reservations got canceled. They were dirty. So that was kind of like suboptimal, but our hotel was great.
Yep.
The PSA guys stayed in our hotel. We really had really no problem. So we got there on Wednesday. We went over to the show. One of our really close friends, Sean Morgan, got us badges to get in. So I really think, Rob, and I think you'll agree, being there on Wednesday is pretty clutch. Yeah. It's pretty key.
Absolutely. Last year we got in at Tuesday, and I think it was a little too early to get there. Even though we had access with the passes, no one was set up. So it was kind of the day that we got there just to waste some time. But yeah, if you're going to get there, you got to get there Wednesday morning. You got to see all the tables when they first set up and see what's out there. There's a lot of competition trying to buy those things. So you kind of get a first look of what's out there on all the tables.
So we got there on Wednesday. We did a little bit of walking around. I don't really think we did much in the way of like shopping, but we saw everybody. And then we left the show fairly early because we went to an Indians game. Yes. Indians, not Guardians. Indians game. Yep. With a bunch of other collectors. And that was, how great was that stadium, Rob?
It was, I've been to a lot of stadiums. I got to tell you, it was awesome. It was one of the best stadiums I've ever been to. The wide open spaces, where it is downtown, walking in through the main entrance, definitely on the top of my list. It was awesome.
And for us guys that live in South Florida, like it's really hot down here right
Yeah.
now and super humid.
Yep.
So the weather was great
Yeah.
in Cleveland. It was like mild. I mean, we walked to the stadium from our hotel, which was like what, about a mile? I mean, maybe less.
Yep. It was like 68 degrees one night with the breeze. It was beautiful.
It was great.
Meanwhile, I'm here and it's 98 degrees and you walk out, it's like a sauna hitting your face. So yeah, it was a great few days to get away from Florida.
It really was. So that was kind of, what we did Wednesday. So let's kind of talk. We'll talk more about the Guardians game or the Indians game. So you got to the venue. What'd you think of the venue, the IX Center versus, the event? I forget what it's called actually right now. I'll remember it as we go through. But yeah, in Rosemont, the Rosemont Convention Center in Chicago.
I mean, it was nice, easy to get into. I just, Chicago, I felt Chicago being last year my first national. I thought Chicago was nicer venue. I enjoyed Chicago a little bit better with the venue itself. I know with this convention center, easy access to everything. Just I know we had issues, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I guess, but bathroom situation and food. And, I just think it was just a different experience. But I did like Chicago better. But it was great. It was great. But Chicago was definitely, I think, better last year.
Thank you, Trekker.84. He said Donald L. Stevens Center. That's what it's called, baby.
That's what it's called.
He's right.
Yeah.
Right. So I actually thought for me, I thought, the location, it was right next to the airport. Yep. So you were literally a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, we landed, got in an Uber, and we were there. Yep. I actually thought the way the show was laid out was better than Chicago. I thought it was much easier to find tables. Chicago was like, I got confused all the time. Like I couldn't find my way around.
I think, you know what? Yes, in a way, because once we knew where everyone was, it was easy to find. When we first got there, if you wanted to look at table 1328 and you're under the 1300 row label above you, you look and it was like 1100 something the table. The booths just weren't set up right. It didn't feel like they were in the right rows. But once you knew where people were and you got the hang of it, it was definitely a lot quicker to learn that venue than it was Chicago. That's for sure.
The venue was definitely smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely by a lot smaller. Yes. Yep. I kind of felt like, it was even like a little tighter. Like, yes. I felt like when it got busy, like you were like on top of people.
100%.
But I still thought it was set up well. They kind of had like the corporate area. In the corporate area, they had that breakers area. And then they had like the collectors and the dealers that were selling, cards and memorabilia.
Right.
Almost kind of like in different sections, which was nice. So if you didn't want to go and do the corporate stuff, you just avoided it. If you didn't want to do the breaking, you avoided it. If you wanted to just stay with, the dealers, it was good. It was kind of broken down into two rooms. I liked it. I liked that a lot.
With smaller area, though, comes less bathrooms and less food area. So, the bathrooms, the lines were so long to go to the bathroom. The women's bathroom, there was nobody in line that you could walk right into the women's bathroom. So I think that was a little issue for some people. And, we kind of found out a little area to go to the bathroom and get some food that we were able to slip in a couple times with no problems. And that was the way to go when we were there. But just standing in lines, I think were a little bit of a problem.
Josh Eisenberg, you're the legend, not us. You're the legend, brother. It was a good time. So yes, they had like what I'm going to refer to, and I'm stealing this from somebody, but they called it the P dungeons. Like you had to like walk down stairs.
Right. Yep.
The IX Center is not that modern. I mean, it's definitely a dated venue. So
Yep.
you had to kind of like walk down these stairs into the bathrooms, and there were literally really big lines.
Yeah.
Really big lines.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you had to rush to go, you had to wait. There was no other choice, And again, I think the food options weren't great, but I know we again got to sneak in a couple areas to get some turkey sandwiches and whatnot. But I didn't think the selection was great. But when you're there, I guess you're not looking for food anyway. You're there to.
I have a difference of opinion. Okay. I really think that we're spoiled from Chicago.
Yeah.
So Chicago, the food at the venue stinks. But who cares, because there's 100 options outside.
Right.
All the hotels.
Yep.
You have the steakhouses right there. You have all of these options, and all you do is just leave the show for a little bit, and you've got 100 places to eat. in this venue, you didn't have that, other than the Aviator, which was, what a cool find, what a cool place. That was a restaurant that we went to. Great food, great service, just terrific.
Yep.
But in this venue, you don't have that around. So you're kind of limited to the IX Center. Right. And they did have food trucks. So I think they had like pizza, tacos. There was a Kona ice truck. Yeah. There was that coffee truck.
Saved the day a couple times, right? Needed that iced coffee.
The coffee truck was great. That's all we did relative to food, but the lines were long. I heard people waited like almost an hour for food out of those food trucks. So good idea by the National and by these folks, but I don't know that you need it in Chicago. But if you ever had a National where you didn't have the setup like Chicago, I thought the food trucks were a great idea. You just needed more of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got to be like you. Next year, I'm packing my protein bars. I'm packing, all the snacks, because that's the way to go. Really, when you're there, you're running around anyway. You don't have time to sit down and eat. So you have your snacks, your protein bars, and that's the way to go until you get to dinner.
I could have charged you $20 for every protein bar that you ate out of mine, and I'd be a rich man at this show. but let me tell you this. I really thought the food trucks, like Kurt said, pack a lunch. We brought snacks. We brought, power bars, protein bars. We had stuff. The other thing is you got to stay hydrated. I mean, you're doing a lot of walking. You're really like you're beat.
Oh yeah.
By the end of the day, Rob, we were beat every single day.
Yeah, my feet were killing me. By the end of the day, we got back to the hotel. I took my shoes off. Oh, it was the best feeling. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
The other thing I'd say about Chicago that I liked way more about Cleveland is in Chicago, there was really, other than that front area of the National where they have some of those tables to sit, like by the Starbucks, not a lot of places to sit. Like, I mean, if you'd actually have to wait for someone to give up a chair and then you run to grab the chair. Right. In Cleveland, there was a lot of area there in front of those food trucks that were lined up with tables that you could sit at. It was actually pleasant.
Yeah. Plenty of space over there. Definitely a difference. I forgot about that with Chicago. There wasn't a lot of seating area, but yeah, Cleveland did have that for sure.
The one thing, and I'm going to try to stay positive because I thought like I said, I mean, the National this year was fantastic. The one little hiccup, and we kind of figured it out by maybe the afternoon of the second day, the internet and the phone service was not good.
Terrible.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Try to make a deal and you didn't have enough cash and you want to do PayPal or Venmo, you'd have had a major problem. Even phone calls. I walked out in some areas. I go out to another area and my phone went beep, 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 and I had texts and phone calls. It was very spotty in the venue. Only certain areas. The Wi-Fi was not that good. So they definitely need to upgrade that.
That was really a downer. That was unacceptable. Yeah. I mean, we found places where the signal was good and we were able to make calls and get service, but that was not good. I mean, Chicago, I didn't have any issues. Atlantic City, that was a disaster 2 years ago. Yeah. I don't necessarily know it was as bad in Cleveland, but it was pretty bad. It felt like that shouldn't have happened.
Agree. And if you want to research a ticket, you're at a table, you want to look something up, you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
There were areas that you could, but yeah, for the most part, 75% of the facility had no Wi-Fi or phone service. So definitely need to.
I'm hearing people are saying there was 100,000 people there, and maybe there were, but I felt like there were more people in Chicago, like a lot more. What do you think?
Yeah, I felt Chicago was also a bigger venue. I just think, I mean, Chicago was probably more people. I believe so. Especially, I think, on the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I was surprised. Saturday anyway. I was surprised because usually I think that's family day. People, take off, they have work all week and they bring their families. And I felt Saturday was a lot quieter than last year on Saturday.
Agreed. Completely agree. Yeah, Thursday was busy. I mean, busy, and Friday was busy. Yeah. Saturday, I felt was kind of lighter. Yeah, right. Definitely.
Yeah, and I thought that was family day. Again, last year was my first experience, but a lot of people said Saturday's busy because families come on that day. But yeah, I thought Saturday was really dead.
The other thing, let's switch gears quickly. PSA had a big presence. I mean, we saw PSA, their presence immediately when we got off the plane with all the advertising in the airport. I mean, they must have spent a fortune on that advertising.
Yep.
All those electronic digital billboards in the airport, big money. They had a great setup at the show. I mean, they actually had not just a booth, but it was like an upper floor. I mean, it was it was really done well. I give kudos to PSA. I didn't get all of my tickets back, which bothered me a little bit because we dropped them off like first thing when we walked in the show on Wednesday. It was the first thing we did. And I think like some of my basic tickets that were just getting grades, I mean, the flips were staying the same. They were authentic tickets that I was getting graded. I didn't get them back by the end of the show.
Yeah.
They told us, well, you'll have them back by Sunday. And if we would have stayed, we would have gotten them back by Sunday. But I felt like we were told if we would have dropped them off early, which we did, that we would get them back before we left the show. We didn't. But I thought the turnaround times was really good. I thought they did a nice job. Matt Fuller is always a great resource. He was out. He was a presence. He was talking to everybody. He was trying to help. They flipped around a lot of tickets. Even Steve Stint went out of his way to help us. And Steve was good.
Yeah, when I was in line, waiting in line, I saw Steve was, he'd see me, spot me up at the front counter, and he'd wave me over. So he definitely helped us out, skipping the line a couple of times. So that was great. So I appreciate that from Steve. And again, with Matt getting everything done, it was odd. We had some tickets that we dropped off the day of, and I think we got them back that same day or the next morning. So no rhyme or reason how they did it, at least in my eyes. I got some tickets back the same day, and like you said, some we dropped off Wednesday, we didn't get back. But no, overall, I think they did a great job. It's a lot of work. I think they had over 1,000 tickets in the days that they were there. So kudos to those guys.
Yeah, Matt did a great job, and like I said, I can't really complain about Steve Stint either. I mean, I think he was really there, and I saw him a lot, and he was trying to help out, and it was great. I don't know if they'll ever run that special again that they ran, but I mean, the fact that they ran their special pricing for the tickets, I mean, we all saw tickets, including PSA, that you would have never seen if they didn't offer that service at that price, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a great business move for them. For the one time a year that some collectors can get their things in, absolutely. If you had anything of any value, you had to bring to the National because you got them back quick and you didn't have to pay those big fees. So again, kudos to PSA. That was a great business decision to do it, and really happy. Hopefully they do it again next year. Be prepared.
I'm not so sure they ever do it again, but maybe they will. But I mean, think about the tickets that Eric Zitter brought and got graded and got slammed.
Phenomenal. I'm in awe every time I think of that collection and what he brought and holding them in our hand. Oh, can't imagine owning those tickets.
We would have never seen those tickets if they wouldn't have offered that special. So
no, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that they did a nice job. The autograph lines, we spent some time in the autograph pit. I call it the pit. But to be honest with you, Rob, again, I'm going to give kudos to him. I thought it was run much more efficiently than it was run the year before and even the year before that in Atlantic City. Did you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, I think there were less people this year, so that might have played a little part. The tickets were really expensive for autographs, so that might have turned some people away. I know I brought tickets that I wanted to get done. I just didn't do it because I didn't want to spend $4,000 on autographs. So, I think it was a little bit better this year. I think they could do a lot better organizing the autograph section. There's a lot of ideas that I had that can help, but obviously I'm not anybody there to help that. But I mean, overall, it wasn't so bad. We got in and out when they called our numbers. We got in, we got out, and got what we needed done.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about it too. Let's go back to it. Just the traffic was a little weird. Getting into the venue, it was backed up. I think TriStar actually stopped charging the public for parking because it was backing everyone up onto the highway.
Yep.
And then Ubers were like, except our Uber driver, he wouldn't do that. But everyone was cutting everybody out, and our guy wouldn't do it. So we were in the Uber like for an hour when we shouldn't have been, right?
Yep. That guy wouldn't go around the people. The other woman we had, man, she was great. She was weaving in and out to get us in there as quick as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I know people said that the first night, I guess it was the Wednesday night. I mean, I think there were people that said it took them 2 hours to get out of the venue.
Wow.
But we went to the game that night, so we didn't see it. We left early, remember?
Yeah, we left early that day, yeah. But all the other days, I'm trying to think when we left. I mean, it didn't take too long. Usually about 15 to 20 minutes for the Uber to actually get into the area and then get us.
But you know why? That's because they had the trade nights each one of those nights, so people stayed. The first night, Wednesday, there was no trade night, so everyone poured out at the same time. We just happened to be gone because we were at the game.
Yeah.
and we had left early.
I see someone making a comment about dropping off area for taxi and Uber. That would have been a great idea because it was all general parking and Ubers and taxis at the same time. If they would have had some sort of Uber or taxi area, that would have definitely been beneficial.
Yeah, and John Caniglio, Tickets to History, says a few hotels in the area had shuttles running back and forth, which was helpful. Our hotel did not have a shuttle. PSA had shuttles, but we, were Ubers, but we didn't, we didn't. And I think eBay, some of the people from
Right.
eBay stayed at our hotel, but
Yep.
I don't think we were able to get on those shuttles. Well, we could have tried to sneak on, but it was fine. I mean, the traffic was fine. We joked about it and everything. I mean, there were literally the first day, I guess it was the first real day, Thursday, there were people that were actually getting off on the highway and walking through like the grass to get into the venue, which was, a quarter of a mile away. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. We talked about doing that. If we didn't have to lug the suitcase around, we would have gotten out of our Uber also.
And that first day when it was a little bit backed up, it was also raining a little bit, like dripping. Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't want to get wet too, but it was certainly, I don't think that those people did anything wrong. I mean, I was ready to jump out of my skin. So I was ready to get out too.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about the Stub Love hats. That was a big thing. I gave out Stub Love hats to everyone that was a guest on the show. And, Josh Eisenberg says he walked from the airport Thursday morning. Yeah. I mean, the way you make it sound like it was a long walk. It really wasn't a long walk. I mean, it probably took him less time than it would take you if you were in an Uber with the backed up traffic. Right. So, smart move. But, yes, we had the Stub Love hats. We gave those out. I thought those were a hit. Everyone liked them. I liked them. Wanted to give something back for everyone that's, tried to, give some of their time to this show and be an asset to this show. So that was fun.
I know a lot of people were asking you for hats, and you said when you're on the show, you'll get them, so get on the show. You get a hat.
Yeah, get on the show and you get it. So my favorite thing, Rob, and I think your favorite thing always is meeting people, talking to other collectors, learning from other collectors, just being together. I mean, it's about relationships. If you're going for the tickets or you're going for the cards or you're going for the memorabilia, you're going to see crazy stuff. You're going to see some great stuff, but that's kind of secondary. It's all about the relationships, the friendships, seeing everyone, meeting people that you see on an IG profile or on Facebook, and you get to meet them in person, and it's really cool. But we had our ticket trade night. This was the second year of the ticket trade night. We had it at a restaurant called the Butcher and Brewer. How great was the Butcher and Brewer? How great was the night?
That was an awesome restaurant. I don't remember who found the place. It was awesome. We went back the second night for dinner the next night. It was a great brewery, great place, great food. Again, I don't know who found the place, but it was great.
I mean, we left early because we were kind of tired from having a long day. Yeah. But everyone was like, that place looked awesome. It was awesome. It just didn't look awesome. It was awesome. And then talking to collectors, I mean, how cool is it to talk to like Scott Foraker for, the 30 minutes, hearing that story? I mean, it will resonate with me forever. I could still be standing there listening to the guy talk because it was so good.
Absolutely. And just random guys that came up to me, just started talking, and it's amazing to hear stories and how they started collecting tickets and what they have and where they're from. And it was fun. It was the best part of my trip, was meeting everybody and talking to everybody about tickets. It really was. Cause again, everyone was so nice. I didn't run into anyone that, it was just pleasurable. It was great. It was great. Everyone was fantastic. And I can't wait to do it next year.
People are saying Butcher and Brewer was awesome. And I agree. The best part of it, we had about 35 ticket collectors. We had kind of like our own little area. People were walking around. People were showing off tickets. People were just talking. We had great drinks, great food. Awesome night. Best night of the National, again, by far.
I agree.
We also had the ticket trade night. It was our first ticket trade night. Again, thought it was a good experience. We had 60 people RSVP to go to it, and only about 20 showed. And
I was kind of
what I'll say is, again, the people that showed, it was fun. Yeah. We got to see some tickets that we would have never seen without the ticket trade night. I mean, Sean Doherty brought some just tremendous tickets. Mark Townsend had some great tickets. Justin had a ton of stuff. I
How does
see
that
Scott
guy
just
travel
joined.
with that stuff? Is he on this? How does he travel with everything?
I
Oh my
know.
gosh.
Oh, how crazy was that? How crazy. Justin, crazy what he brought. It was just crazy.
Yep.
Scott, you missed us. We were talking about you for already a while, so you have to rewatch. We already gave you the kudos and the bow downs that you deserved, but a lot of fun. So I thought the ticket trade night was good, an inaugural event. What I'll say is that trade night, so our ticket trade night was Saturday night, combined with the card trade night that had been running Thursday night, Friday night, and then the last night was Saturday night. Yep. Crazy. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, it was insane. The line outside that didn't have the green bracelets, there were 1,000 people out there waiting in line. So we were lucky with that. We had the green bracelets. And again, I'm not sure who you set it up with, but kudos to you and Sean and all the guys that set this up. But to have those VIP bracelets and to have the back area roped off for us and the reserve sign and everything we got, it was awesome. It was awesome. A little bummed there were only 20 people. You know, it was great, the 20 people. But when you have 60 reserved, I really thought it was going to be a little bit bigger. But, you know, next year, that's how we grow, right?
They went out of their way. Jimmy Ryan and David Marino, kudos, man. Those guys, they took care of us. I mean, we had our own area. I mean, look, the card part of it was wild.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, just phenomenal for the hobby.
Yes.
Just so good for the hobby. But they had like a DJ, but the DJ really wasn't annoying. They kind of had the lights. It was cool. But we were in like our own little roped off VIP area. And then how about the guy that comes out and is like, Jimmy wants to make sure you guys are taken care of and you're going to have VIP access to the lounge. I mean, it was cool, man. They took good care of us.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I wish there were more people, but it was so much fun. And again, tickets that you would never see. And it was great how everyone was getting into it and putting the tickets on the table and just moving around. It was a great experience. Again, I can't wait for next year. We have 360 days now at this point.
Well, countdown begins. Thing is, I think we're going to have to figure that event out. Yeah. It's good for us because I'll say this. I really, truly do not believe right now we are in a place with tickets where we could have our own independent show.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked about it. Could we have our own independent show like in March in our own little venue? I'm not sure. Maybe not. The ticket trade night was kind of, I thought, maybe the test for that. Yeah. But Saturday night, maybe people were just like worn out. They had been there Thursday, Friday. It was at night. Yep. You know, kind of just maybe it was just the timing of it. And that's why people just didn't show up. Or maybe people put their names on the list because they were like, well, if we're there, we'll get a bracelet and we don't want to miss out if we don't. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, someone's saying, you know, national ticket show. You know, it wouldn't be with the national. I mean, we couldn't do it with the national. It would have to stand on its own. And I'm just not sure we could do that. I'm not sure that enough ticket collectors would spend the money, fly out, and do that. I think it almost has to be associated, you know, a trade night like we did Saturday night with the national. But
yeah, if anyone could do it, you can do it.
Yeah, but you know, you know, look, we had a great night on Saturday night. We just didn't have, you know, we had a third of the people that committed, and that was a little bit of a downer. It was still a great night. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I mean, I was blown away with what Justin brought. We met some new collectors. We met some new people. They were there. Sean and Mark made a big trade. Yeah, someone said, you know, how about Thursday night, like to kick off the national, and maybe, except there's another event on Thursday night. So I mean, and we'll have to see. Maybe maybe it was just the wrong night.
Yeah, I might suggest during the day, but I know a lot of the vendors go. You know, the guys that set up, and you know, unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to be there, and they're a big part of it, so they got to be there. But you know, again, Saturday it was the last night. You know, I was exhausted. So I can't imagine the guys that are at their tables all day. You know, Mark and Mike Violi, all these guys that are working the tables from early morning to night. It's a long day for them too. So, you know, I think a different time would be great, but again, it's a little bit harder to do, you know, have those vendors and the guys come out.
So someone asked, you what was the opportunity for people from cards to come in. And we actually had someone, there was a bunch of people that were asking, and then we had that guy, that Pittsburgh guy that crashed our thing, and he said, I sell tickets, I'm a Pittsburgh guy, and he's a dealer at the show.
Yeah.
And I think Justin like got right up to him, was trying to sell him stuff. Justin always wants to get his hands on the newbies, buy my stuff. But no, he was great. And Justin needed like a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was nervous. Justin had so many tickets and they were like strewn everywhere. I was like, we're going to lose tickets. Like Justin, like I was a little nervous,
Yeah.
just kind of
letting
this stuff out.
Get in before you got there, when you were still up top rounding some people up. We were down there. A couple guys were trying to get in around the ropes, and I'm like, nope, ticket people only. I wouldn't let them in. It's pretty funny, but
VIP.
That's it. But yeah, with Justin, all those tickets, I got nervous too. A lot of the guys were leaving the tickets on the table, and I know it was roped off, but I know none of us would do anything, but you have someone sneak around or something. It just got me a little bit nervous, and I was like a hawk, just making sure no one was touching anything, walking around. So
it's funny though, because ticket entourage, you're right, Tom. The crazy thing is, there's people, all the card guys, they just lay their stuff out. They have no worries, no care, no nothing, and they're thousands and thousands of dollars. And I guess they just trust it. I don't know. I mean, it was our first. I wasn't trusting anybody, and if anyone came into our roped area, they were getting jacked. Yeah. So we made sure of it. So let's see. We have a couple dealers that were at the show. So I had Jim Markey on. I saw Jim, I think, jump in. I'm also going to try to bring in Jamie Brzezinski. Let's do Jim first. Let me see if I can get Jim on. I'm going to see if I can invite Jim. Hold on one second, guys. Jim said he was having some issues with his internet, but I see him. So I'm going to invite you, Jim, and then you accept the invitation. We'll get you in. So I just invited you, Jim. So I think I just did the invitation. So you should be able to. Oh, there he is.
Hey, guys.
Wow, that was like seamless, Jim.
There you go. It's my second time. Yeah. Gets easier.
So let me just say this. Jim had, I thought, no offense to anybody else, newest stuff, best stuff, widest variety. Agree, Rob?
Yeah. Again, not to offend anybody. Everyone had great things. The difference with Jim year to year, he had so many different tickets, and it was cool that again, last year I remember what he had. This year was a whole different set of tickets. It was fun. I mean, his table was awesome. I kept on going back every day, figuring he'd have new stuff out there again. It was a great table.
So Jim, overall, tell us about your experience as a dealer at this national.
Well, I like the venue. I'm with you. I don't like the neighborhood. I thought the layout was really good. I liked our area. We were in the back by eBay, and I could see everybody on the stage, but it wasn't intrusive. It was a little loud at times, but I liked the layout of the floor a lot better than I do Chicago. And New Jersey was just a disaster. The crowds were good. I mean, I didn't ever felt, because where we weren't like where Mike was, where you had the main traffic. I felt like most people back there were back there to look or have a conversation. Um, I felt far more people come to the table that were interested in tickets, and they might have had two or three, but they wanted to have a conversation. They wanted to look at stuff more so than before. So it wasn't. I wouldn't say the majority of the people were the boogers crowd, right? There was a lot of people that stopped by. There's a lot of boogers people that didn't stop by, but there's a lot of people getting into this, and they're seeing them, and they're interested, and they like the history, and engaging people in that way and kind of find out why they're interested in it was the most fun for me. It always is.
I think, Howard, you made a deal at Jim's table, right? A
did.
random guy was needing a ticket, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was funny. The guy, Jim, didn't have it. I asked Jim if he had a problem with it. Jim said no. And, it was a newer collector. He was a big card guy, starting to get into tickets. He and I have, been talking a little bit on Instagram. I've been trying to educate him a little bit, but really nice guy. Bought a great ticket for me. I gave him a good deal, but super nice guy. And Jim was cool with it. I would say this. Jim just had a variety of very new stuff. Yeah. You could tell the year from Chicago to Cleveland, there was a lot of new stuff on Marky's table. For sure. For sure.
I also doubled the space, right? I'm doing 2 tables next year again, so you can see it more. Last time it was kind of stuff on top of each other, and that just did make a huge difference. I mean, the extra table investment was far worth it. It was
Now,
fantastic.
you did tell me, Jim, and you know, I'm not going to take a vig from you or anything like that, but you actually had made a couple of sales off of the show, off of Stub Love Live, before you even got to the National.
Yeah, I just had them pick up at the National and check them out in person before you pay me. That was cool, and it was a win-win. I mean, they were. I think I sold the Munson and the Mattingly
Great.
before I even got there. That was
Two
great.
Nice.
tickets, really happy. The good thing too that I feel for this national in Cleveland, really the ticket guys were almost all like in that like small
Mhm.
square. Like it was Mike Violi was in his area, Jamie wasn't too far away. Jim, you were kind of right there by the eBay booth and by Heritage. Darren was a little bit further down from
Yeah.
you, and then even Mark was not so far away.
Yeah.
No, we all select around the same time. Mark selects ahead of us, so he gets a little bit better spot. Mike, his crew, they select just behind me. So I think this year I compared the notes with Mike, and I think we're going to be relatively close to each other. Kind of the new section that was there last year where Mike was, where the autographs are. I'm going to be further up. I picked another spot right across from the corporate booth because I liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought your spot was great. The only problem with your spot is phone service. At your particular area, I had a problem with my phone and my Wi-Fi. I don't know if
Yeah.
you did, Jim, but
I couldn't do any research. I
yeah.
mean, I'm glad I had everything priced before I got there. So, there's no research to be had. And I could take payments. It took about 5 minutes to work a payment out through PayPal or Venmo. So it worked out. Nobody walked away because they couldn't pay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say, Jim, this was your best national?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was really not even close. I mean, the number of transactions was up significantly, I think 40%. The average transaction was way up. And I think it comes to what you're saying. I think it was the variety I had. I mean, I had a lot of hockey, and some hockey went to some really good collectors that needed it. I just had a variety of stuff. I had one come to my table, tell real quick. He just asked me randomly, "Do you have any old Dodgers tickets?" And I did, and I put 2 on the table. And he looks at it, and he looks on his phone, and he looks at it again. He goes, "You won't believe this. My grandfather and my grandmother were at a Dodgers game in 1954. My grandfather caught a foul ball. I have the ball in my collection because they passed. I've got the date written on it. That ticket on your table is that ticket." It was
Wow.
unbelievable.
Wow.
So he had to go home with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice Mays full ticket, but I mean, I was just so happy to put that in his hands.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, I'll say this, Jim. I saw your table basically busy 24/7. The whole time we were there, if we went over there, you had traffic, you had people, you were talking, you were doing deals. I saw Tom there. He was doing business and transacting stuff too. So, really, really kudos to you, Jim. I mean, I really thought your display and what you had out was top notch. So,
I really appreciate that, Howard. It means a lot.
yeah.
Now the raising the bar for next year, right?
Yeah, well, if anyone can do it, Jim, it's you. I mean, it was impressive. I was impressed. It takes a lot to impress me. I could have dropped a lot more money with you and done a lot more business with you. I just had to pull back because you had so much good stuff. I mean, you'd agree, Rob, right? I mean, it was great.
Agree. I wanted to pull some triggers on a couple things. Just we did a couple trades, right? We did
We
trade.
did. We both did some really good stuff that got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have those again I do one show a year. I keep telling everybody I don't sell the stuff that I put out normally offline. I did have a couple of people reach out to me after the show and wanted something.
Yeah.
So those would be sold, but for the most part, I'll probably have a lot of that. I won't some inventory I'll leave at home, but I'll probably have a lot of that stuff next year plus some more.
Yeah. Well, if you need anything, reach out to Jim. He's JP Markey on Facebook. That's the best way to get him. Jim, I don't know how to have you get off of this thing because I'm so technically illiterate unless maybe you can just bounce off. I don't, if I push it and I bounce you off, I'm sorry.
That's
No,
right.
I don't know.
I have an X button. Let me try
Okay.
this, closing this down. All right.
Appreciate you coming on, Jim. Thanks again.
See you guys.
Hey, Jim. See if that works.
Maybe not.
Oh,
Oh,
that.
all right. Jim's out. So let's bring on Jamie. He's 22 Bulldogs cards. Let me see if I can get him on. Jamie was another dealer that was set up. Oh, I see him. Let me invite him. You're invited, Jamie. Let's see if you can get on quick. Man,
There he is.
there he is. I just saw that guy.
Yeah.
Cool. So you and your dad had a table. You guys had tremendous World Series stuff. You were in a very good location, lots of traffic. How was the National for you, Jamie, as a dealer?
Well, just like you guys mentioned, it was really nice seeing a lot of people and putting names with faces and getting to know them better, knowing what they collect and different things like that. Even at the night where we went downtown, it was good to see some people that I knew pretty well get in there and make new friends and make new acquaintances. Like I've known Ben Weingarten for probably 15 years and probably Scott associated with him for the last 6 or 7, and it was really good to be able to see them, engage with so many good guys like yourself and others and talk about their collections because they just have, tremendous collections. And that's why we're there, is just we are all collectors, whether we're dealers or not. I mean, I have a collection that I have at home too that you don't get to see as much, but I enjoyed that more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. And Jamie always has a great booth. He's got tons of World Series tickets. I saw a lot of people up there. The good thing I think about having the World Series stuff, Jamie, is you even bring in a lot of like novice collectors who are just kind of like dipping their toe in the tickets because they know World Series games. That's popular. You've got a lot of them. I saw a lot of people at your table buying World Series tickets. So I'm assuming it was a good show for you and a good National for 22 Bulldog.
It was a great show. I enjoyed it. A lot of people even buying tickets to get autographs. That they had a way to get them somehow, or they were paying there at the show to get them. Some of the more, I guess they were 70s, 80s, 2010, something like that, 2006. Getting autographs on those. So I like it when people get autographs because that's what I collect too, and I want those to be out there for generations to come. I just think it's so neat to have a ticket which is super rare, and then go ahead and get it autographed.
Yeah. So you're going to be back in Chicago next year?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Table space is hard because basically I just shared with a friend. He had another dealer that couldn't make it, so I shared a table. But the last guest said is I just had so much stuff that you couldn't really display it. I had 4 display cases, but one of them I devoted to Type 1 photos. So really 3 different sections of tickets, and they basically just had to ask, like, hey, do you have a 57, or do you have a 1940, or do you have all-star games? But I could see if you had a lot more variety, you would hit a lot more people, because I did have a lot of people ask about, hockey or a particular team or football team or something like that.
I mean, you had a lot of great stuff, Jamie. You always do. And it's funny, I'm sure if people said, hey, do you have this year World Series or that year World Series, whether they couldn't see it or not, I would bet dollars to donuts you had it. So you always do.
Yeah, I have quite a few different World Series. I mean, some of them are getting really hot as far as just, people wanted the Pittsburgh stuff, or they wanted the Cleveland stuff, or things like that. 48 Clevelands, my goodness. If I would have had 20 ticket stubs from that, I think I could have sold them. They've been super hot with, Dobie and Satchel Paige and Feller and all those. So it's just interesting. It's really interesting to see what people are asking about. A lot of 86 Mets. I didn't have any 86 Mets, but I mean, there were a lot of people asking for 86 stubs.
There were a lot of dirty Mets fans there, man. Pagan was like in his element.
Hello, people.
I mean,
There were
true.
so many Met fans there. I think there were more Met fans than any other team.
Hey,
It was awesome.
I had a lot, but my best pickup by far was this right here.
The hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I love giving them out. Ravel, man, what can I tell you, man? Ravel doing the video. I guess what, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery. So, hey, the cat's the cat. Asher the cat. He's the mascot of the show, baby. Maybe we'll bring Asher to the next national. I don't know, or the hat will have to have an orange cat on it. That'll be the new thing. But I appreciate it, Jamie. You and your dad are such quality people. Love hanging around with you guys. Love talking tickets. Love seeing you guys. So I appreciate you coming on tonight and talking for a little bit. And we wish you all the best. And I guess we'll see you next year in Chicago.
I will be there, even if I'm not set up. I will definitely be there, but
okay.
Hopefully be able to be set up. But who knows?
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, I don't know if you heard from Jim. I think if you just hit the X, that's the only way I can get you off. I don't know how I can do it.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Jamie.
You guys have a good rest of the night.
All right,
all right. Be well. All right. So let's talk just very, very briefly and then get off of this thing. Great episode. I loved it. Loved talking about the National. I'm still excited. I'm ready for next year. Let's go. I got to book the hotel. I tried to book the hotel. It's too far out. I can't even book it yet. I'm ready to go. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So one of the things I will tell people, the National is definitely a place that dealers are setting up with things for people who are there to spend money.
Yes.
So,
and cash is king, so make sure you bring your cash with you.
True. The lesson is be careful. Be careful. People have some stuff that may be priced maybe a little too high, but they know you're there with cash. You flew to the show or you drove to the show and you're there for the show. So make sure of it that you're getting the right deal. The other thing is at a National, you are going to see stuff that you have never seen before. True?
100%. I was in awe. Even forget tickets. There were so many things I couldn't imagine ever seeing in my life. And it's great. It's great. And, I'm an autograph collector. I have other memorabilia. So just walking around, I have such a good time.
So one of the things I'll say is I look for, when I go to the National, I try to be more focused. It's hard for me because I'm so excited about tickets. I just want it all. But I try to be focused. I'm not going to say what I bought, but I was actually able to buy one of my Grail tickets at this show. I bought it from a collector who brought his brother, and that deal was done on the show floor within about 5 minutes. It was super quick. It was a great deal, but I bought it from another attendee. I didn't buy it from a dealer, but I couldn't pass it up because I think there are only 7 of them, and I may never see another one.
And it's a great on your list. You had to have it.
It's a Grail on my list. Now, you, Rob, I don't want to jinx it. We'll just say you also had an equal experience. We'll talk about it another day. I don't want to jinx it yet because you don't have it in your possession. Yeah. But another thing, Rob went with a Target to pick up something he really wanted, one of his Grails, and he was able to accomplish that. So if you're focused and you're patient and you look around and you think and you connect with people, you never know what you're going to come home with. Never, ever know what you're going to come home with.
I got to thank the ticket guys because they were all helping me on the hunt for those things. My Grail ticket. So, one particular person, I know you're watching. Thank you so much. And once I have it in hand, I want to share it and I'm excited about it. But until it's in my hand, I don't want to get too excited.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to do that.
Where they were all trying to help me. And, it made my National getting this ticket. Again, as long as it's in my hand, it'll be in my display case right over here next to me with all my other Met stuff. And, it's exciting.
It's a big one. So let's run the gauntlet, Rob. I want to run it. It's a different gauntlet, but I'm going to run it.
Yep.
So 2023 Chicago National or 2024 Cleveland National?
Well, I got the Grail at the 24, but I got to tell you, I think the first was last year. I think I enjoyed last year better because it was my first experience, if that makes any sense. But I was more successful, I think, this year.
Okay. I'm going to go 2024 because it's new and it's hot, and we're doing a 2024 recap. So 2024. So here's the next question. keep the National in one city permanently or move the National to a new city each year?
It should be somewhere each year. Have it in Vegas, have it in Orlando, have it in New York City. You know, just just tour around the United States. I like going to the baseball games. That's part of it too for me. Last year we went to a White Sox game, we went to a Cleveland game. To be able to go to different stadiums while you're there, that makes it fun too. But I enjoy traveling and seeing the different parts of the country. So I'm definitely for making it somewhere different every year.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you. I love Chicago. We've got 3 in a row in
Yeah.
Chicago. I wish they would change one of those to Atlanta or Orlando. I really would. But Chicago's a great place. We actually even looked into it. We were driving home. We're like, so the MLB schedule's out. And we could actually do 2 games. We could see a Brewers game and we could see a Cubs game.
Mark it down because we're going to Milwaukee.
Road trip.
We are
Road trip.
100% going. I don't care if I have to get there Tuesday a day early. We're going.
And the last question, would you attend a ticket-only show held during a different time of the year, or do you just want to stick to the National?
If it was a ticket, I would definitely go. I think that's great. If we can get the amount of people, and it doesn't have to be obviously as big as a convention center. If we were able to make this happen and get into a hotel, a lot of these hotels have conference rooms or lobbies, and we can all get together and maybe we all go to a game. I don't know how many people able to bring out, but yeah, I think it would work, and I think we have enough people if everyone's committed to it, and we give enough advance notice for people to save and make travel arrangements. Yeah, I'm in for sure.
We'll see. It's a lot of work to get the ticket trade night off the ground, and that endeavor would be more. So we'll see. We got a lot of smart people, a lot of good people in our group. So we'll see. Michael Jordan Tickets, thanks so much. He said, Grail episode. I agree. Rob Pagan, thanks for coming on. Jim Markey, Jamie Brzezinski, everyone that was at the National, everyone that listened to me and took pictures with me and did interviews with me and was annoyed by me and still put on a smiling face. I appreciate it. We tried to document the National for everybody. We did that. We posted it pretty vigorously. So if you weren't there, you kind of got to feel as though you were. Really, really, really enjoyed. Rob, it was a great time being there with you, man. Can't wait to do it next year. Episode 32 of Stub Love Live. We are done. Thank you very much.
See you guys.
See you. Bye-bye.